Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Welcome back to the channel where last time we were here we hit the Boom Town milestone and we did a big expansion of the town, almost doubling the size. In today's episode we are going to be playing with some fun themes for the city. We're going to be bringing in a rail to the waterfront, which is very common in cities in the location that we're basing this series off of, which is the Pacific Northwest of Canada. And we are going to be doing some more expansion, trying to hit the next milestone again. So we're really pushing for these milestones early on, but you know, we're still playing with some themes. And this is a great shot right here of where we're going to be building the rail, right along that open space by the waterfront. So let's hop out and take a look. So here's the city. We got Port Roberts waterfront, we got Port Roberts proper, and apparently historic Port Roberts, which I believe was kind of the middle zone here. So we're going to be building a railway into this zone. However, we don't have railways unlocked. We don't have railways unlocked for a little while. It's very, very common of a theme to see rails coming right up to the waterfront of a city in the Fraser River Valley, and that is because goods were shipped through the city to the port where they were then shipped out, and the cities and the ports kind of grew up together. So in a way, this is going to be kind of like a spur line. So this is kind of the plan for what we're going to be doing with the rails. However, again, we don't actually have the rails unlocked. I just need to find the right of way for that rail line, so then we can build around it. The rail would have come first, and then kind of the grid network after that. So I want to build what would have been there first, so then we can play around with it, see what the surveyors would have done. So the rail is over here. We're not going to be doing this part today, but we'll be bringing in the rail through this side underneath the highway, bringing it into this zone where I'm going to then split it so that it goes in this direction, and then we'll have a spur line come down into here. This is what we're going to be doing today, is that spur line, finding the right of way for that spur line into this zone, and of course things are subject to change. However, there are some pretty unique circumstances in the Fraser River Valley where the rail would come in through here, and then it would even just continue along the waterfront all the way. So we do have a bit of an obstruction here, which may come into play today. I'm thinking we could get it in. However, maybe we can do like some sort of really fun upgraded system into like a tram or something down the line, so we could get that right of way in here. We're probably gonna need to bump out the land a little bit for this. So we'll see what comes of it, or we can say that they removed it at this point and then it became this part of Front Street. I was thinking maybe we could extend the rail across this narrow straight here, but then it would eliminate any possibility of boat traffic through this zone. So yeah, let's start off with a bit of that, and then I also want to mention one thing. I don't know if anyone caught it at this point, but last episode I messed up the grid expansion from this area by 1 block. So if we go into the zoning, we can see it. This is supposed to be, or last episode we did it as an 8-unit space. However, it should have been a 7-unit space like it is now, because of how we're saying the road was expanded. Originally, this would have been a 2-unit road, something akin to this, but then it was expanded upon, and we had to widen the road by 2 units, so 1 on each side. We had already taken off the extra unit on this side from this grid, but we didn't do it on this side as well, so it made no historic sense. So I had to redo the entire grid off camera here. So I just literally shifted over everything 1 unit, and I just waited for it to rezone, and everything is the exact same, except I just made this connection here. That's all. So funny situation. It all worked out in the end, and we didn't hit the next milestone off camera, which I wouldn't have allowed to happen, but we are just under 1,000 people away from Busy Town. All right, so how are we going to do this since we don't have the rails unlocked yet? Well, I was just thinking we could use just a large road. I believe the rails are, you know, about the same unit size, So if we kind of use a 4-lane road, we'll use the industry road if we have it available. This should cover the entire right-of-way size. In this situation, it would probably be something like 66 feet from one side to the other. So I think if we leave a 1-unit space here, will probably be good to use this road here as a bit of a temporary reserve for the rail right-of-way. So I'll keep it at exactly the same distance through here. Yeah, one unit space between Front Street and the rail line. I think that'll give us enough space to play with. And I don't mind it if it's a little bit lower than Front Street, because we're going to need to get some pedestrian bridges or even a road bridge across. So then we can access this side where we can get some fun waterfront features. So I think what we can do here is, if this was the original port, maybe we could then lower or go down a unit size once we get to this corner here. So we'll use the industry road again, and I'll try and go or maintain our 1-unit distance from Front Street. We'll just do something like that. And then if we turn off our road guidelines and we just maintain our grid guidelines here. Yeah, I think this should work here. So I think this corner should probably be at this height. And then that would mean that this one should probably be at this height. So if we have to keep the road at this height on this side, let's see what the slope would be if we were to slope, because it really should be at the same height all the way through. So perhaps what we do is we just, keep all of this railway right-of-way at the same height as this, which looks pretty flat. So I think we're probably good to just do that. And then this gives us a bit of a lip here for a key or something like that. So yeah, you know what, I don't mind that at all. All right, so now we're gonna start curving up this direction. This is uphill. So this is where it's gonna get a little tricky to kind of figure out the grade of the railway right of way. So let's take a quick peek at the terrain here, and we can see what it's like. Yeah, so it's flat up here, it seems, which is really good. So this gives us a ton of space to play with a bit of a trench. And it's flat all the way up through here, which is really good. And then we said we were going to split it off into this direction. And yeah, look at this. It's all flat through here. Fantastic. So if we even have a bit of a trench, we could then get this to bridge up a little bit, this road here. And we could get the rail underneath. But we're not going to be doing that today. So let's find an appropriate situation here, which is perhaps this road. And this is where we're going to get potentially a bridge over across of this rail trench. So let's continue this road exactly to maintain the grid here. So we'll bring it out 16 units. So we maintain our simple 8-unit structure here for historic Port Roberts. And we will also remove all these trees. All right, so that is the same height as this node. So if we were to go underneath it, we need to get pretty low here. So let's then grab this road here. And I guess we should probably start from here. So I'd rather not connect to this road. So let's go to about, let's turn off some guidelines here. Maybe maintain our grid guideline. All right, so we have a nice simple curve through here, and then this needs to get to at least the same height as this for now. We'll see what that is. And then we got to get much lower. So in order to do this, this whole section of this of Graham Street here is going to be elevated. Fantastic. So now we need to get this road to go underneath Graham Bridge here. So if we lower it down to about that height just for now, and then we can slope it from here all the way to one of these points, and we can see what the angle is on the slope. So if we go from here all the way to here, 1.6%. So that is fine of a slope, but I think I might want to go a little bit lower. So I just grab it with move it again, lower it down just a touch more. Then we go back to the network multi-tool, which is a fantastic mod. Definitely one of my favorites, 100%. 1.3, that's pretty good. It has so many different tools. You can add nodes, subtract nodes. You can make nodes in union. You can split nodes. You can intersect segments. So many things. My favorite options are definitely the sloping, and then the create a loop or a curve or a connection or even just the parallel road. That is fantastic itself. Okay, so here is the rail at the same height as this, but we might go lower once we actually get the rails in, but this is a good start. So then we're at this point, and I think that height is probably going to be good. We might even want to get it a touch lower. All right, so then we are just going to continue this. After we've hit Grand Bridge here, I'm going to use a bit of a freeform tool to figure out the exact direction that I want. So we want to make sure that it's not that steep of a slope here. So let's try to hit it at 160 degrees or about that. So that's pretty good. So it's not too sharp. So we got to get this slope to under 1.5%. I believe 2% is kind of the base for rails, at least in this game. So if we get it below 1.5, I think that's ideal. But if we can't, then that's okay. So 3.9% is way too steep. So that means we need to get this original node much lower. So if we get it to about here. Okay, so this is a 2% grade on this road, which is a good start. And then this also means that we can then trench the rail underneath this road instead of bridging like we originally thought. And this gives us tons of room to then get this back up to ground level for over here. But, you know, we have to go underneath the highway anyways, so it might actually be good that we're staying at this height. A big trench is not ideal, but it's definitely not unheard of for this situation. So now that we have this rail trench planned, we can then figure out how we're going to bridge across here, right? So we have this height now. We have this bridge already done at a proper height. So we can then bring in the other through streets across as well. So in this case, we are going to go to about here at ground level, and then we're going to go elevated just over top of the bridge here, then back down to ground level, and there we go. And then I'll bring this one across as well, and then we'll start talking about the grid. All right, so we have bridges across here now, and this one apparently decided to put a post in the middle, so we should probably remove that. If we just go into node controller, we should be able to remove the post, but doesn't look like it. Okay, oh, there it is, okay. And then we just delete the node. Oh, wrong thing. We gotta go into network multi-tool for that. I need that. There we go. And now we have a clear, there's no post in the middle anymore. This is actually pretty high, this bridge, these bridges, which is totally fine. This is the one that's a little tight, so we might need to end up raising this one again down the line once we get the rails actually in. But you know, just a meter here or there isn't too bad. So now let's talk about the grid. So let's go with our basic 2-lane road here. So this is an interesting little situation. We have a pretty dense forest, so maybe this could also be a bit of a park. It's also a pretty awkward distance here between the nodes of which our grid will line up on. So I don't really mind skipping this one, but let's see. So if we maintain our grid, this is 16 units from the other one. So again, we're making this grid at on the basis of an 8-unit system. So if we connect to here, that's good. Looks like that node fused together. That's fantastic. And we could connect this one up, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm just going to bring it to about this point, so it'll kind of show that at one point perhaps this was connected, but not anymore. All right. we get some nice condos in there or something like that. Then if we were to continue this system all the way through, so again, 16 units. So let's bring this out another 16 units. There we go. So that is a 16 unit road. Now if we bring this up to here now though, we get pretty close with this node here. So I can then delete this road. And now if we turn zoning off of this road, for example, and this one here, we have a nice clean markings through that area. And then same thing in here, we could get some nice condos or something like that on this road. But we were building this at exactly the same distance. So if we wanted to, we could bring in a small little road right there. It adds a bit of zoning ability on this side street a little bit. Then we can also continue this one through here. Okay, so I should have probably counted out where we were because we already had a street in this direction. So let's bring this one out another 16 units and we can see where we are. All right, so here we are. We're just continuing some of these through streets. So this one would continue. This one would be to about here. So let's see where that would be, just as for a rough plan, right beside that node. So this is going to be a bit tricky to get this one in place properly. So I'm just going to build a few temporary streets. All right, so this is where these roads would continue, and we're getting close to our industry zone, so I'm going to stop the expansion up in there for a future episode, because we're going to focus on this part today with our rail through here. Okay, so let's continue expanding the grid out another block or so, and in order to do that, we're going to need to remove some trees, so that is okay. We will bring the trees... or we'll remove the trees to about this point where we have a bit of a cliff face coming up. And then right in here as well, I think I might remove some, but we'll leave them along the cliff as much as we can. All right, so we still need to connect up the grid with this road over here and then bring it out one more block. So let's see, I think on this side of Monarch Avenue, which is this large street here, we're still using our 16 by 16, or sorry, a 16 unit roads. However, through here, it looks like it's a 10 unit system. So there's 8 in the middle. So let's make sure that we maintain that going forward. And again, we'll bring this one out just to get, you know, an extra condo or something like that on this side, if that ends up being a high density zone. All right, so now we're in a bit of a tricky situation. We have no way to access this side of the waterfront. And now that would be important because, you know, we're shipping stuff in and out of here. How are goods going to get in and out? Well, we're going to be running another road, you know, again, assuming that this is a railway. We're going to be running another road right beside it, right up against this road. And then we need to swing this one up this hill. So we're going to get some terraforming done. We'll probably connect it right about here. Now, I do see that this was the 8 unit mark. So I think what we're going to need to do is redraw in this road, because we just need to fix things just ever so slightly to get that at exactly the right length. All right, so now we can figure out how we're gonna get a road from here down. So I believe this one's probably gonna need to get upgraded to a larger road, especially if we're having traffic flow through here. Definitely makes sense to do. Back in the day when this was probably, you know, when this was a waterfront in a small town, there would have been junctions to cross the major railway hub here right on the street. or right at grade level, sorry, but I want to make sure that for this game, we're going to be able to sneak a path over here up into this zone. And we might be able to sneak one kind of grade level connection or run one connection at grade, but we will see. So let's go from about here and follow along this street right up against it to about here. There we go. And then we need to make sure that the road is at the exact same height as the rail. Now we can get a perfect curve right up to this node here, which is right there. Perfect. I'm glad that that road guideline came through. So if we bring this one right up, looks like we're going to overlap with the railway right away a little bit. So I think we're going to need to come a little bit farther than we previously anticipated, probably to about this node. Let's go out 8 units. Let's just, maintain that system. Perfect. We're just missing the right of way. So then this node here needs to be at the same height as this. And then, holy cow, look at that. So now we can then get a perfect slope from here. .5% is actually not too bad. I don't mind this at all. We're seeing some glitching here, but that won't be there when the rail is in. So I don't mind that. And this is some pretty scenic views here with these cliffs and whatnot. My goodness. All right. So if we do have a real port here, still active, it would probably be in this location here. So I think maybe this lines up well to get a road to split off here to run into the real life port. And you know what? Something I didn't do last time when we unlocked the terrain leveling is I should have leveled this out a little bit so that the lighthouse is actually on land. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Okay, so we have that in place now. This is pretty steep. Let's kind of re-level some things through here. So again, we're going to be using the network multi-tool and the sloping terrain tool. So we're going to click this intersection, and then we're going to go into this direction. I would like to slope that a little bit better. And then we'll do the same thing through here all the way to this corner. Nice. And then we'll go from here and we'll slope this one up a little bit as well. All right, so this is a pretty good expansion right now. Bit tricky with the right of way, and I think this is going to look really nice, especially when we're looking at it from this angle here. If you imagine this road as a rail line, it really looks nice. I think we could extend the grid at one more direction or one more unit, and then we can probably start zoning for the episode. Right here, I think this is going to be the park access for, maybe walking along the beach and whatnot. So I think if we just extend this one little road out just a touch, I think that would be pretty nice. So we're already 4 units. So if we click this out another 4 units, that's 8. All right. And then we need to bring this one out one more set, which is 16, but we might not end up getting 16 units all the way through. All right, so there we go. We expanded it just a little bit more. I think this works out really nicely. We could probably have another park entrance down into here, or nature reserve entrance. So yeah, that's definitely beneficial. So we can also play with the size of the grids now that we have our unit size. Right down in here, we went down to 8 units. So why don't we do the same thing all the way through? We don't need to connect up to that street again, but we can bring these ones together, and we do the same thing in through here. This is another pretty major street, so if we get this one to kind of be the main collector, I think that's okay. And then this one, we could even bring right up to the road and then cul-de-sac it. I don't think that's a verb, to cul-de-sac. But, it works. And then we can bring these ones through the middle here. So we do have some fun slopes and stuff, which is going to make for some interesting building types and building challenges, which is good. But we definitely zoned a bunch, and that is really, really nice. Now looking at the zonable terrain now, what does it really look like? Well, it looks like the city has kind of just enveloped the right-of-way, the historic right-of-way of this rail line, which only existed when the town was over here. So this is an expansion upon the city, probably in, you know, the 30s, 40s probably. Looking at the timeline, maybe even a bit earlier. Let's take a look at the district. So this is historic Fort Prairie. That makes sense still. We can keep that. Then we'll have our, Fort Prairie. Oh my god, that is our other series. Port Roberts, my goodness. So this is the just very basic, more modern expansion, Port Roberts. And this is probably going to continue a bit farther. But as of right now, this is where the district really just is. Okay, so now we can talk about some zoning, because we are almost at the next level. We're just shy, about 1,000 people shy. I don't know if it's entirely going to fit in here, but we also unlock high density soon, which would be definitely beneficial. But looking at our residential, commercial, industrial demand, we have a bunch of industrial demand in here. So I'm thinking right in this little pocket here, we can get some industry. So if I do that and then pause really quickly, because I believe that we don't have the same industry types in Port Roberts as we do in historic Port Roberts. I think historic Port Roberts, oh no, it's just Port Roberts waterfront that has the forestry industry. So we could change industry types in this district, which could be fun to do. So if we go into here and we look at our industries, we could even do something like farming specialization in here, which could be nice. There's some fun buildings in that zone. So why don't we do that? Let's add in farming specialization in here. And we can see if there's anything that pops up. We could even go into find it and take a look. So here we are, farming. If we look at the industry size itself, so it looks like we have some 4s, some 4 deep, and then some 3 deep. So let's start with 3. So we'll go on this side. Yeah, some nice warehouses. These are really nice buildings. And then there's also this one here, which is a big, massive building, which looks nice. I you know, I don't really mind it here because this is a fairly industrial corridor, but I think in this particular spot, some old warehouses could look really nice. So if we place one here, we could get 2 in, or we can try one that is something like 2 wide. We can find any building that is 2 wide. It doesn't matter what the depth is. This is a snowfall DLC item. Oh, neat. I didn't know that was a possibility. Could even have a vacant lot as well, which I like. But this is really cool. I didn't really realize that this would happen if I imported all the snowfall DLC stuff. So let's get these ones to pop up. But first, let's get the other buildings in. So I want as many large buildings as I possibly can. Yeah, look at this one. This one as well is a greenhouse. That's really cool. It could almost be like some legacy farms or something like that. Yeah, this is really neat. I think I would prefer this one right on this intersection here. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. And then if we get maybe, I don't really think these silo type buildings work here, but we could get like a vacant lot. Kind of shows that the area is transitioning a bit. All right, so I was just about to talk about it and I realized I forgot water. So there is the forgetful water situation of the day. So let's bring these pipes all the way through here. And I haven't cleaned out the water pipes now that we have money, so I think I will do that off camera after today's episode. All right, so let's take a look. I think this looks really cool. I love this building a lot. It looks like a family farm or like a family's house that, you know, they've built kind of like an industry up out of their house, and you know, now they have a nice big greenhouse beside it. It looks like a interesting transitional zone through here. And then they have a warehouse beside it. Maybe the operation's grown. There's a vacant lot, bit of a greenhouse with another type of warehouse right here. I think this is a really cool little spot. Now to detail this up, there's a few things we could do. Looks like the height is slightly off here. It's gonna bug me if we don't fix this. So let's get this to the same height. Let's quickly pause the game though and check the zoning, make sure the zoning didn't jump around. It didn't. Then we can also take off these portions that are unused. And we could add stuff like a couple trees in here. So that is kind of how we're going to detail this up. All right, since this is a vacant lot, I doubt that the property would be upkept, so we can add a bit of shrubbery right through here, and it would make it seem a little bit more realistic. And there we go. I think this looks really, really nice. And the thing with the farming industry is it doesn't really pollute. So if we look at our pollution, yeah, there we go. All our pollution is right over here. I really like that district. Then this could also be a park. I'm gonna leave this vacant for now, just as we decide, but we could do the same situation right here. It's a bit of an awkward little zone. If we turn zoning off through here, we can make this little pocket industry. So there we have it. Fun little industry area again, little pocket. I really like these snowfall DLCs that are imported. It looks incredible. I really, really like this greenhouse. I think that's really, really cool. It almost looks like it's one property as well, which is nice to see. Okay, so we have added a bit of industry, but definitely nearly not enough for what we have demand for. So I'm going to extend out the temporary industry area a little bit farther, and I will just bump it out a little bit, just one more block. And we also need more power, so I will add that in over here as well, since we're in our kind of throwaway zone. I think this is really important to do if you're building a city, like a themed city, because you really need to be really careful with what you're doing in the themed city. And if you just kind of have to add in another power source or something like that, it can really mess with the theme, and then you could forget to go back to it or something like that, and it just doesn't end up always working out. So if we add just a bit of industry in here, hopefully just that pocket, hopefully this will be everything we need. I don't really care about the zoning in here because in like an episode or two, this is going to be gone, especially because our garbage is piling up pretty quick. So we're going to need to sort or deal with our garbage situation as well. So that ate into a lot of our industry demand. So if we go all the way out into this zone, we should probably look to eat up a bit of our commercial demand. So along Monarch Avenue here, which let's make sure that this street continues, we should get a bit of a commercial district in here. So if we go to about 2 units along here, and maybe go 3 units on this side, I think we should get a good commercial kind of usage in here. And then any other situations where we could get commercial, well, I think in this kind of pocket here, I wouldn't mind seeing almost entirely commercial. And then we should probably get have no zoning along this road here. So and the same thing with this one. We could also get a bit of commercial right through here, but we'll go 3 deep, I think. Yeah, all right, so we're eating into our commercial demand already. Now we can start adding in some residential. So akin to our theme along Monarch Street, right through here, we're gonna leave a space between our residential and our commercial districts, because then we can get some trees in here, which really make for a nice separation. So this is a bit of a smaller scale than that. So we'll go 2 units for these houses all the way through here. And then I guess we never connected up these 2 roads, which I totally can see us doing. Okay, very good. And then now we can add in some pine trees between them. So at every building distance, I'm going to, or sorry, between each building along the property lines. Okay, so now we have a pretty equal demand. Now I can start zoning up a little bit more. Let's get, say, some residential through here, and then we'll do the same thing. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do this side because this is a bit of a park. So maybe residential wasn't the best idea there, but I think this will transition to a bit of a condo down the line. This is kind of a bit of a main thoroughway. However, I don't think we need to worry about not zoning residential along it. I'll also do the same thing here, and I'm also realizing that I forgot to upgrade this bridge. This bridge definitely needs to be upgraded to a larger road. All right, so there we have it. We simmed a little bit and we're getting in some houses, but you know, it's not coming in that fast. And that is probably because the land value is not that great out here. It's pretty good down in the main town because we have, you know, we have a park and whatnot. So why don't we look at adding in, say, some amenities or something like that. So let's start at the top of the list and let's look at healthcare. So healthcare is not the best out this way. So we could go for another one. Let's check how expensive it is. It's $400 a week. Could we afford to do that? Yeah, I think we could. So why don't we look at getting in a secondary med clinic? You know what? Let's take a look at some other amenities first. We're good on death care. We have 2 situations here. We don't have any childcare or anything like that. That could be good out this way. Same thing with elder care. That could also help a lot. I think this would be better suited on this side of the area though. There's also some of these which are the sports hall and gymnasium. I was thinking we might have had the sauna unlocked. We don't, so let's get a med clinic in. These I like to put, you know, in commercial blocks. However, our commercial zones aren't, it's not exactly in the best spot here. So why don't we go right off of Brown Street here and we'll place this building right there. That should really help out. We use the different med clinic, or we use the other med clinic type than what we had previously used. And then let's take a look at fire. So we only have 1 fire department. We should probably get another one. I'm gonna get a temporary connection into our industry zone here. This is, again, 100% temporary. I will delete this at the earliest possible situation. But let's just basically connect these 2 roads together. This is going to be important because our services can now run into this area without clogging up this main highway here. So let's get our fire station in this temporary industry zone. Because, you know, your fire station should really be close to your industry areas. Oh, water. Oh my goodness. It was right on the edge. There we go. So let's look at the demand for that now. Yeah, a lot better. Let's look at the police. Do we have banks unlocked yet? No, we don't. The police, we're probably good for police. But education, we only have 1 elementary school. Could we go for a second? I definitely think so. Let's get an elementary school in. We'll go with the same elementary school type. And we'll place this... yeah, right here, why not? This looks like a good spot for it. And what we could even do is we could add, or move this over just a touch with Move It, so that it looks like the, if you're driving into the parking lot here, you could just drive right through the intersection. Now, I don't believe we have our parking lots unlocked yet. Where are they normally? I always forget where they are. Oh, they're in transit. Yeah, we don't have them unlocked yet, so I think I would put another, like a mirror of what this parking lot is on the other side. So we could save that down the road. I hope I remember, but we will kind of play with the idea that that's what I'll do. And I think we will need to have the fence then right about here. So let's just go halfway in the middle of this unit square, and then we can bring this fence through. Let's make this one a bit smaller of a elementary school. All right, so just something simple like that. I really like this elementary school because it looks like a modern one and it has the playground asset attached to it. So there we go. We can also get, you know, a bit of commercial right through here as well. Could even then extend it out a little bit, or we could get a pedestrian path through here, which I think is probably the better idea. So if we just do something like this, yeah, that's gonna work out great. And then we don't necessarily need to have commercial here. I know a building just got built there, but we can remove that, and then this whole area could be residential if we want. But now that we have education out this way, that should really boost things as well. Looks like we're running into some garbage problems, so we're going to need a secondary one of those. There is a bit of a tip with Move It if you would like me to show you, if you don't really mind kind of playing with some of the mechanics. So let's just get a secondary landfill it anyways. But if you want to, some people would probably think this is cheating, but it's a great feature with Move It. So you just select the landfill with Move It, and then you just go into here, and then you click Reset Objects, run the game, and it just goes back down to 0, like as if there's nothing in it. So that is convenient, but what other amenities can we add in? Do we have the libraries unlocked? We do have the libraries unlocked, so we could place in, say, a historical library. That could be really cool. We could place in one of our suburban libraries, which I think is what we're going to do at the moment. But there's also this public library as well, which is really good. I love this building so much because it looks like it could be like a town hall or something, right? And we don't really have the grid size for this over here, but do we have the grid sizes to fit it over on this side? We do, so maybe we can transition something over here, maybe this area, to become like the town hall or something like that. That could be cool. Maybe right along this street, or beside this beautiful park here. That actually makes a ton of sense, so why don't we do that? So we'll leave one unit space over here, and then we have a nice, beautiful town hall. So let's say this is maybe one of the original buildings in this area, and we'll call this one Port Roberts Town Hall. And we're going to need to work with some of the terrain here a little bit to get this to look a little nice. So we'll lower this node to the same height as the asset we have right here, and then we'll slope this road so that it looks a little nicer. All right, and then we can detail up around it a little bit. So what would that kind of be? Well, this asset has stairs on the back side here, so people would, presumably be able to walk out the back door here. So let's kind of play with that idea in mind. All right, so we've kind of sectioned off a few little areas here. So then we can add in some park items as well in this zone. Would one of the snowfall assets kind of work through here? The snowman park is always kind of fun, but actually, you know what? This one actually is real snowmen. So it doesn't really work, but we could add in something like this out over here, which is like a bit of a plaza. That's pretty cool. It looks like actual statues and not ice sculptures. And then we could find something to put onto the other side. I don't think we have... Oh, we do have the pedestrian ones unlocked as well. So we could place down this small one here. I don't think the food truck plaza or the ice cream plaza works, but the small fountain plaza does. So let's move this one into place. There we go. So we have a bit of like an interesting little town hall kind of working out. So let's just add in a bit more detail through here. And, I think the best way to do that would be through just some additions of some trees. All right, that looks really nice. I really enjoy that a lot. And that should also raise the land value of the area quite significantly, to be honest. So we'll get a park in here down the line. And look at this, we're doing pretty good over on this side. So we have a lot of demand still. So I think maybe we could consider some more industry out this way. Or maybe we do a bit of commercial. All right, that is a good addition. And then over on this side, I don't think I'm gonna really touch this, but I do like that we added stuff in over here. Okay, so I believe we still need to think about adding in a bit of value over on this side of things. So if we're looking at our parks, yeah, it's not, the entertainment value isn't exactly there yet, is it? So why don't we add in just a nice big park through here? It looks like this one fits almost perfectly. So I think it would make sense to do. Now we do have unique buildings unlocked. So we could go into the level 1 buildings here and get like a level 1 plaza through here, but I'm a little worried about this road needing to be upgraded in the future. But you know, that could be part of the challenge itself, right? So we have Lazarette Plaza here. That one's not too big. This one's pretty good. Statue of Shopping, I believe this one is. Yeah, and then how about this guy? Oh, that's a big one. Statue of Wealth. Okay, this one looks pretty nice, but I don't know if this is exactly the right kind of theme for it. So I'm going to go back. Oh, look at this. There's the Fountain of Life and Death. There's also the Friendly Neighborhood Park, which works really well. So let's do the Friendly Neighborhood Park. Then we can fit this all in. And we might move the clinic down a little bit over onto this side. All right, that looks really nice. It's a good transition as well. It will definitely help raise the value. So let's take a look at where we are here. We are so close to reaching our milestone, and we have just a really good expansion through here. I'm really enjoying this. I think it'll look really nice once we get a park in here, because you know how it kind of looks like kind of steps. We'll kind of smooth that out a little bit with the parks itself, because we will be able to kind of sneak in like a house in this kind of corner here kind of thing. So I think this will work out in the end. But let's just bump this out one more block all the way through, and then we'll be able to hit our goal. So we'll just grab our basic road, and then we'll come to about here, which I think is 10 units. Yep. Then we'll bring this one all the way across. We're going to do a big block zone because we just want to hit our milestone before the end of the episode. All right, so we might need to add in a bit more zoning, because I thought we'd be able to get to the next milestone with just that one block, but I think we can add in just a touch more because we're so close. Oh wow, hey, there we go. Busy Town. We hit 5,000 people. That is fantastic. So what did we unlock by doing all the expansion today? Well, we got some policies, level 4 unique buildings, leisure and tourism buildings, sightseeing buses, trolley buses, the oil specialization, the tourism specialization, and all of these policies on top of a bunch of our roads. This is going to be really awesome, because this is also our bike lanes. So this is going to be very helpful for transit in our city, and a ton of our asymmetrical roads. So now we can do some proper upgrades on our busy streets where we have all that happening. But we also have the hospital, the large fire station, some more leisure buildings, the large police station, new power options on top of, you know, a hockey rink. That's awesome. Warehouses, some more park items, the road maintenance depot, which is one of my favorite buildings, on top of some plazas, or sorry, some transit, and our compact bus station as well. And oh my goodness, how fantastic is this? Tons of unique buildings. This is great. Speaking of transit, if you made it this far in the video and you were wondering, Steven, why didn't you include anything from the new update that came out on Tuesday or Wednesday? Well, I have pre-recorded this episode before those updates came out. So on Monday's episode, we will have all the new, we'll discuss the new items in the city. And, you know, this was also kind of beneficial in case, you know, something went wrong with the game. I would have made sure that, I wouldn't have been able to make sure that this video would have come out for you on Friday, and I may have had to push it if there were some issues. So it's just a safe bet. But look at that, Busy Town. How fantastic is that? And my goodness, the town has really expanded, hasn't it? Holy cow. So let's take a nice little screenshot here. It's a bit awkward because this is definitely not what it's going to, you know, be in the end, but this looks really nice. It looks like it's going to work really nicely for our situation here. So let's get a nice screenshot of the town, kind of blocking that out. And there we go. So have a lovely day, folks. Talk to you soon. Peace out.